Winter Roundup is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation. Nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at dacathleteoftheyear.com.
Hello, Michigan, and welcome back to the best high school sports network in the nation, State Champs. We hope you enjoyed the holidays, but right now it's grind time. This is the premiere of our brand new State Champs Michigan Roundup Show, where we are spreading the love to all of our winter sports outside of just basketball and hockey. You need to know that all State Champs Sports Network programming is presented by the prestigious Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. I'm Lauren Plant.
And I'm Jenna Skelski. We have plenty of highlights coming your way to make up for lost time. We'll be taking you to the court, the pool, and to the mat to watch all of Michigan's high school student athletes put in overtime this season.
That's right. Matt Mowry and Dan Young will be along to talk our top teams in girls hoops, and that's where we will begin. Even though the holidays are over, the Winter Roundup is the gift that keeps on giving. To the hardwood we go.
I'm Ryan Slocum. The two-time defending Class A state champion Saginaw Heritage hosted unbeaten Bloomfield Hills Marion. Sophomore Lauren Gunn will play a huge role for the Hawks this season. She opens the scoring with 2 of her 15 points. But it was the two-time state golf champion that stole the show. Shannon Kennedy getting buckets early and often on the inside, the outside, and on the break. The junior scored the Mustangs for 7 points. Kennedy had 17 in the first half alone. Marion led it 22-15 at the break, and she would pick up right where she left off in the third. Kennedy ahead of the pack for her only bucket of the second half. Heritage trying to stay in it. Lolo Jones down the lane and one, but the Hawks would only score 3 points in the third, and the Mustangs would start to pull away. The 6'3 sophomore Sarah Sylvester took over from there. She dropped 11 with 8 boards as Marion stays unbeaten, knocking off the defending champs 43-26.
I'm Jenna Skelski, and we go to competitive cheerleading and the Sterling Heights Stevenson Titan Invite from last weekend. 15 schools competing in the invite, and we begin in Pool C. The Titans from Warren Woods Tower had a good round 1 routine as they went on to take first place in their pool. We now go to Pool B. Here's the Blue Devils from Grosse Pointe South in round 3 action. Nice performance, and Grosse Pointe South would go on to take the top spot in Pool B. And finally, to Pool A, 2 downriver schools battling it out for first place honors. Here's Wyandotte Roosevelt in round 1. The Bears would end up in second place. Because this day would belong to another downriver school in Woodhaven, here's the Warriors with their performance in round 3. A solid score of 306 in this round as Woodhaven goes on to take first place in Pool A at the Titan Invite.
I'm Kevin Trozinski, and we go to boys swimming on the west side of the state as Forest Hill Central was at home to take on Grand Rapids Christian. And we begin with the opening race of the night, the 200-yard medley relay. Grand Rapids Christian ranked 3rd in the state. It would be the sophomore anchor Luke Full just getting to the wall first over Ben Regola from Forest Hill Central to get the victory. We go to a few races later and the exciting 50 free. It would be Regola and Full battling it out for the top spot. Middle of your screen, it's the freshman Regola that just edges it out by 0.6 seconds for the win. Let's take a look at diving. The sophomore Cole Heisen of Forest Hill Central was on his game as he would go on to take top honors. Back to the races, another exciting ending here in the 100 butterfly between Avery Lake Turneau for the Rangers and Corey Campbell of Grand Rapids Christian. It would be the junior Lee Turneau with the extra kick at the end to get the W. This dual meet went back and forth throughout in the 100 backstroke. It would be the senior Campbell for the Eagles just beating out CJ Heyer to get the victory. We go to the 100 breaststroke. What a performance by the junior Jacob Hoxma of Grand Rapids Christian. No one is around him as he wins by over 5 seconds. Forest Hill Central was trailing Grand Rapids Christian going into the final race of the night in the 400 relay. It would be the junior Lee Turneau for the Rangers anchoring the last leg for the 2-second win. These two schools finished in a tie at 93 points.
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and let's hit the lanes as we check out some bowling highlights between the Clarkston Wolves and Farmington Falcons. Jeffrey Wan struck in the second frame of Baker's game, number 1 for Farmington. Tim O'Daniel comes right back and strikes for the Wolves. Jonah Musio comes in with a big hook and strikes in the 10th as Farmington takes the first Baker's game. Wan would keep it going in the individual game. That small hook strikes. He bowled a 2-11 in the first game. Patrick McCletchie comes up with a two-handed throw. He bowled a team-high 202, and he would finish strong with a perfect 10th frame in the first game. Ben Suji strikes in the 6th frame for Farmington. He had a high game of 242 and led the Falcons to a first-game win. Over to the girls' side now, and Quinn Felsner gets the baby hook to strike true for Farmington in the 6th frame. Ashley Alinsky right in the gutter that heads right for the head pin for Clarkston. Naomi Smith picks up a 10-pin spare in the 10th frame to ensure the win for Farmington in the second Baker's game. Anaya Jones rides the outside line as she strikes for the Falcons in the second individual game. Ashley Alinsky kept it rolling in the individual games. She finished with a 224 average on the night. Angelina Stowers hits the pocket as she cruised to a 137 game. Abby Thompson hooks in a strike for Farmington. She ended the night with a 153 as Falcons took the second game.
What's up, Puckhead? Sean and John here. Don't forget, you can check out Hockey Time. Every week, we are going to be talking about what's going on in the great state of Michigan at the high school level. So much good hockey being played, and we're going to do our best to cover it from all vantage points in the great state of Michigan. New episodes drop every Wednesday right around 3 o'clock.
I'm on the Blue Devil football team, and that's a great place to be because other colleges wouldn't let me be both a football player and a nursing student. And just because I'm a dog on the field doesn't mean I can't take care of people. And man, do I love people. The small class size at LTU give me awesome access to my nursing professors. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Lauren Plant's here to invite you to check out Hang Time, the show exclusively covering boys basketball in the state of Michigan. We've got more dunks, dimes, and daggers than any other hoop show in the state this week. Besides a ton of highlights, our own TJ Kelly and myself will do a deep dive on some pressing topics, and we've got the BCAM Executive Director Dan Young talking about the playoff seeding changes. All that and more on State Champs Hang Time Michigan, premiering every Thursday at 5 p.m. See you at tip-off.
Today, we're going to show you how to become a registered MHSAA game official. It's easy. Start by going to the MHSAA website and click on Officials in the heading. From there, click on the big red letters that say Register Now. If you've never officiated with us before, click on Become an Official and fill out all of the requested information. After you've done that, just answer a few questions, including agreeing to a criminal history check, select your sport, and pay the registration fees, which are among the lowest in the nation. You'll still need to pass a general exam and fulfill some general principles of officiating requirements. Next, get connected with the local officials association. It's the best way to get trained, get games, and get you started in this new adventure in officiating. Every year, we need at least 1,500 new officials, so join us. And if you're unable for whatever reason, you can help keep our new officials, or for that matter, all officials, in the game by showing them respect for just getting out there. Think of every game as a 4-lane highway. There's one for players, one for coaches, one for officials, and one for fans. So fans, don't cause an accident, stay in your lane. Let the coaches coach, the players play, the officials officiate, and just enjoy the game. For more information, visit our website at MHSAA.com. Helps wanted, just whistle.
What's up, guys? Lauren Plant here, and we love high school sports. We especially love every time we hear of a student athlete getting the opportunity to live the dream of playing college athletics. Is that your dream? Your hard work, dedication, and talent might just get you a look, but what's your work ethic in the classroom? We're here to help educate you on the vital importance the role academics plays in your possible college athletic future. Grace Boyles has the story. Listen up.
And they got recruits from all over. And if you don't meet one of the criteria, they'll just wipe you right off.
In a process that has become increasingly more cutthroat, high school student athletes are looking for a way to stand out to college recruiters. How can they do this? Performing well on the field, but more importantly, in the classroom. Former Robichaud High School and Western Michigan football star and current Wayne Memorial Athletic Director Jason Malloy set up a forum to ensure that his student athletes know how to handle all aspects of the recruiting process, including the academic portion.
When I got here, I was asking questions about core GPA and NCAA clearinghouse, and many kids didn't understand or know what it was about. And so that drew me to be in a position to say, well, what can I do as an athletic director to educate not only our student athletes, but educate our parents? And so that's when I began to use some of my resources to reach out to Eastern Michigan, Lawrence Tech, where Avant Mitchell is, and Mike Kostoff, to come in to create this forum where we can talk about the student athlete process, the recruiting process, and bring it in as one, and then have the parents and the student athletes ask questions.
They just don't have any education on what the real rules of the recruiting process is needed to be successful, and that's the biggest thing.
With social media, everything that is so accessible to the students, they see the glitz and glamour. I have an offer from here, I have an offer from there, but they may not understand what that means, because different levels, offers mean different things, and there's different requirements to, receive those offers.
A common misconception in the recruiting process is that recruiters solely judge athletes on their game film. It's actually a far more holistic evaluation system that includes assessing student athletes' all-around character and work ethic.
You have to have good grades. 3, you have to be a good player, right? And coaches, college coaches, take all those things in consideration before they offer a student athlete. And it's just really important for the student athletes to know that it's not just about playing on the field or on the court. It's about all the other things. It's about your character. It's about how others look at you as a student or as a person.
With that being said, being a student athlete, you have so much on your plate with practices, games, travel, things of that nature. None of those things slow down your academic responsibilities as a high school student or a college student.
As the famous saying goes, the early bird gets the worm, and that's just as true in high school recruiting. Mike Kostoff encourages his students to begin the process as early as the 8th grade.
Let's start 9th grade, first semester. Ideally, 8th grade, middle school, for those soft skills that they need to be successful.
And so our job as administrators in athletics is to really look at our 9th grade classes, our 8th grade students who are coming in to say, hey, listen, this is your most important year. Once they understand that, we can build on their sophomore, junior, and senior year.
The recruitment process can be daunting. That is why it is so vital for student athletes and their parents to work together.
The most important thing that a parent needs to understand is that their child and them as a parent, they need to take ownership of the academic journey right now. It's not about the sport. The sport will take care of itself. If you can play basketball, football, hockey, soccer, whatever the sport is, the coach will find you. But it's taking care of the academic journey is where most of our student athletes fail to see that this is important.
For so many student athletes, playing college athletics is their dream. Mike Kostoff constantly asks his students, Is the dream real? Reminding them that their dreams are in their own hands.
They can control their SAT test score or their ACT test score. They control that. They can't control a Division I offer. So that's what I mean. Is it real? Because people can always say a dream, but are you doing the actions that's going to be needed to fulfill your dream?
And so I just try to get them to realistically look at it. There's a small percentage of student athletes who make it to Division I. Man, that's great if you can, but you also have to be, again, in position to accept that scholarship, and that means academically as well. So I try to make it realistic to them. I don't try to sell them dreams. I don't try to break their dreams, but also I try to make it realistic for them.
Thanks, Grace. You know, there are a ton of resources out there to help you, but Mike Kostoff has been doing this a long time. He's got a great book called Win All Four. Check it out at TotalStudentAthlete.com. And administrators, you can have a recruiting education seminar too. Just go to his website and contact him. Now, you students, you can stop watching this now and get to study. You've got a dream to fulfill.
The greatest honor a high school student athlete can earn, the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Athlete of the Year. You're one of the tops in your sport. Prioritize education and giving back, like Cassius Winston, Megan Bobian, Rakia Jackson, and Aiden Hutchinson did. 6 male, 6 female nominees earn $1,000 in scholarship money, with $5,000 each to be awarded at a red carpet gala in downtown Detroit. Nominations accepted now. Download the application, DACAthleteoftheyear.com.
What's up, State Champs Nation? We hope you guys are enjoying the new layout so far, but right now it's time to lay up with some girls basketball highlights with a dash of wrestling.
I'm Alex Sims from the Lansing area. East Lansing hosting Detroit Edison, and it was a packed house at EL, but what else would you expect with the two of the best girls teams in the state tipping off against one another in the first half? Aaliyah Nye was unstoppable for the Trojans. She swishes the three and she's pumped. It was her third three-pointer in a row to give EL an early 5-point lead, and she was getting it done from inside as well. Grabs the offensive board for the putback and the foul, 2 of her 17 points. Trojans within 6, but the second half was a whole other story. It was all Edison from the corner. Shaylana Wagner buries the three, and Gabrielle Elliott just could not be contained. She's wide open in the paint, easily banks it in for 2 of her 26 points. Detroit Edison hands East Lansing its first loss of the season, 65-48, the final.
I'm Jenna Skelski, and we go back to the west side of the state as the combined squad Rockford Sparta was at home to take on the Lowell Red Arrows. And we begin with the vault. Joey Gare, Avery Nixon, and Maya Anderson for Rockford Sparta all tie for the best scores for the team with an 8.75. But the Red Arrows would take the top overall score in this event as Tegan Ronchetti comes through on the dismount. Next to the uneven bars, Anna Tracy for Rockford Sparta gets the landing to go down as they went on to take this event for the squad. Back comes Lowell on the beam. Paige Barnhart was solid in her routine. Marissa Weber for the Red Arrows showing off the moves in her floor exercise round. Marissa went on to get the team best score of 9.15. But it would be too much Rockford Sparta on this night. Here's Ashley Faulkner in the floor exercise as well. .27 score for Ashley as the combined squad of Rockford Sparta goes on to beat Lowell in this dual meet.
I'm Lauren Plant, and we go to wrestling in the Oakland Activities Association. Couple of rivals, Rochester and Rochester Adams, went at it on Wednesday. We begin with the opening match of the night, 160-pound weight class. Kenny Jackson in gold for Adams up against Ben Trevorrow. KJ with the armbar on Trevorrow finishes for the fall. Highlanders on the board. Jump to 189. Chase Montour for Adams needed only 2 minutes in his match against Ben Schultz. The half Nelson ref pounds the mat for the pin. Rochester Adams won the first 3 matchups. but the Falcons found some footing at 2:15. Joshua Smith squaring off against Muhammad Murray. Smith with the beauty of an over-under throw, then gets the quick fall. Falcons on the board. Back and forth the next few matches. 119 class, Adrian Aduaja for Rochester in a contested battle with Ethan Williams. Yo, Adrian! He gets the near side cradle for the fall. He did it. The Falcons, Kevon Troy, is the defending individual D1 state champ at the 103 weight class, now grappling at 125. Only needed 90 seconds to take care of Vincent Palmer, the half Nelson, and the fall. This match tied at 21 points apiece. But it was the Highlanders who dominated the rest of the night. Second period action, 135 class. Nikita Gotel in control against Inito Shati. He countered up to the back, went on to victory. That carried over to the next match at 140. Andrew Brown with the half Nelson on Alex Krob. Ref whistles the win. Rochester Adams would win the final 5 matches of the night. Kevin Gibbons gets the pin on Chris Cox. Highlanders best their rivals from Rochester.
Listen up, ladies. The MHSAA's Women in Sports Leadership Conference is one of the largest and longest running programs of its kind here in the U.S., with over 500 participants gathering every year to hear speakers like this year's 2-time Olympic women's soccer gold medalist Lindsay Tarpley, MSU's volleyball coach Kathy George, and Michigan's 43rd Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. This event includes the presentation of this year's Women in Sports Leadership Award. High school students, coaches, and administrators are all welcome to enjoy workshops on coaching, sports nutrition, leadership, injury prevention, and much more. To register as well as see the full itinerary, please visit the MHSAA website and click the Education tab, then Women in Sports Leadership. This event will take place on February 2nd and 3rd at the Crown Plaza, Lansing West. We hope to see you all there.
Back in the studio, and every week here on the Roundup, we're going to talk a little girls basketball. We call the segment Fast Break, and some weeks we'll have coaches on. Others, like this week, well, he was a coach, but he's the executive director of the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. Dan Young is here, again, a guy who did it on the girls and boys side, even coaches golf. He's everything. The managing editor of all the journalism content you can read at statechampsnetwork.com is Matt Mowry. He is also a workaholic, our girls hoops insider. Welcome to both of you guys. All right, Happy New Year. Okay, Matt's current top 25 rankings are available at statechampsnetwork.com right now. Just taking a look at the top 10 alone, some really quality teams. Let's start, of course, with number 1, Detroit Edison. Nationally ranked again. They've taken on teams from Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, as well as beating East Lansing, our number 3 team, earlier this week. They have won 3 state titles in a row, 2 in the former Class C, now in what they classify as divisions. They won Division 2 a year ago. What makes this version, Matthew, of the Pioneers still top dogs?
Well, it's simply put, it's talent. I mean, when you've got, as we talked about last year when Rakia Jackson was our Miss Basketball winner, when you have the favorite in each class throughout the high school career for Miss Basketball, if you have this year's favorite and next year's favorite and possibly the year after that favorite for Miss Basketball, you know that you have a conglomeration of talent that is going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, almost every player, it seems, on that squad is going to play at the college level at some sort. How do you keep all that in check?
I got to know Monique Brown last year in the Miss Basketball festivities and the award ceremonies, and she is really it was really cool to get to know her. She's a wonderful person, does a great job, came over from the college ranks, and there's a reason why they're really good and they have good players, is she's the leader of the group, and she's impressive.
East Lansing, who, again, you can see those highlights here earlier on the show, suffered their first loss of the season to Edison, but you've got them ranked 3rd. Dan, we have an Illinois-bound performer in Aaliyah Nye. She had 15 in the loss against Edison, but this is a program that has consistently been one of the best in the state. They very well could win the D1 title this year, and this is another program that every year seems to be in the mix, and I think it starts with leadership.
Rob Smith's entering his 19th season, 300-plus wins. does a great job. Really classy guy. Every year they're in the mix.
Yeah, and they've got several weapons.
Yeah, it's not just Aaliyah Nye. I mean, obviously she's the front runner that everybody knows about. She's going to Illinois, but they've also got Soraya Timms. They've got Shug Williams, who came over from River Rouge this year and gives them another instant scoring option.
How about some quick thoughts on Heartland? You've got them ranked second in the state right now.
Well, if you want to talk about depth, when you're Don Palmer and you can look down on your bench and just do a hockey change and send in a whole new line of 5 players and have them be all players who belong on a Division I floor like that, that's a team that's got amazing depth. I mean, obviously it starts up front with 6'4" Whitney Solom, who's going to Michigan, but they also have senior leadership in Maddie Moyer and Nikki Dompierre at the point, and they've got a bunch of youngsters who were all the freshmen last year who got a lot of experience.
And Dan, you've coached both boys and girls, as Don Palmer has, and here having a tremendous amount of success, really being able to preach his message to the ladies.
Just an example of getting better at your craft. Don is 950 plus wins, but he's at every clinic. He's up at Michigan State. I remember seeing Judd back when Judd was at Michigan State, being at practices, breaking things down, reading, getting better, asking questions, traveling. And it's a great example for all of us coaches on those that stay in it. And everywhere he's been, from Milford to Heartland, you don't want to play him. Yeah. I'll tell you that.
And being a member of BCAM, he's one of those guys, as a young coach, you could reach out to.
He's the kind of person that you call in the off season and he would sit down with you and help you with what you're doing.
All right, just for good measure, Matt, why don't you shout out a couple other teams you're impressed with?
Well, we were talking about that Heartland Livingston County contingent with not only Heartland in the top 10, but also Brighton. This may be Brighton's best team ever.
Paul Ash, talking to Paul Ash and some of the people, they feel it's one of their best teams they've ever had.
Luckily, they're in separate districts,
which is nice,
but they're in the same division of the KLAA. And not only that, there's a Howell team in there that is very good, and Novi and Plymouth are not far behind. That's a very deep division. But some of the more interesting teams that are in our top 10 are some of the smaller schools who belong there because they've played in some of those tournaments. Adrian Lenawee Christian, who everybody who has watched girls basketball over the last couple of years,
outstanding coach,
has watched them grow into a state powerhouse on the small school level. They as an independent, they take on everybody. Their only loss so far this year is to number 2 ranked Heartland. Another team that you should watch in the lower levels is D3 Grass Lake. 6-1. They beat Ann Arbor Pioneer. They've beaten Parma Western and Michigan Center. Beat defending D3 champion Pewamo Westphalia in a very close game on a neutral floor at Grand Valley. Their only loss was by 3 to Division I Carmen Ainsworth.
There you go. We're not just about the big schools. We love the small schools. I want to thank Dan Young and Matt Mowry for joining me on this week's edition of Fast Break on the Winter Roundup. You can catch my conversation with Dan on seeding in the playoffs on the boys basketball show, Hang Time Michigan. Time now for the MHSAA Clip of the Week. We go back to the boys' swim meet between Forest Hill Central and Grand Rapids Christian. Of course, the always exciting 50 freestyle. The freshman Ben Regala for FHC edging out Luke Fall from Grand Rapids Christian by just 0.6 seconds. That's your MHSAA Clip of the Week. What a show, right? Hey, if you guys want to watch any more highlights, go to the website, statechampsnetwork.com, or how about you download the new State Champs app so you can take the action with you wherever you go for free.
We hope you guys are all having a great start to the new year. We can't wait to see what 2020 holds for these student athletes. We'll see you guys next week.
State Champs Winter Roundup is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation. Nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at dacathleteoftheyear.com.